Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So welcome to all the devotees. Thank you so much for joining us. This is quite historical from our point of view because we're going to start today reciting the Srimad Bhagavad Puran from chapter 1 of Canto 1. This is really a blessing of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. And we'd first like to offer our respects by chanting this verse to the various personalities. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiriye.
Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
So we are offering our obeisances, our respects to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto the Narayan Rishi, supermost human being, Mother Saraswati, goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasadeva, who's the author. And also Srila Prabhupada, who very kindly brought this Srimad Bhagavatam from the West. Otherwise, we would not have a clue about the Bhagavatam. So, and there's another verse that we also chant, which is the 18th verse of the second chapter. Nasta Preshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki.
By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to a pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. Loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact.
So, study of the Bhagavatam is very important because it will establish the loving devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
It's a good day to start before
And it's a good day to start because tomorrow is Guru Purnima.
Yeah.
So Vyas Purnima. Yeah, very good. Vyas Puja. So I'd like to thank Leena for beautiful darshan. Thank you very, very much. Fantastic.
All Krishna's mercy.
Hare Krishna. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you very much, Shruti. Looking forward to the recitation of Bhagavatam. So let's make a start actually, because it will take, Hare Krishna, thank you so much. It will take some time because these verses are, there's only actually 23 verses in the first chapter, so it shouldn't take too long. But what I was thinking we'll do is we can recite, you of course can recite this Sanskrit, and then we'll read the English translation. And at certain points, we'll have some breaks in the sense that we'll just explain the series of verses so that we get a bit of an idea of what is being spoken by the Bhagavad Puran. So we've been already through the history of the Bhagavatam, the glories of the Bhagavatam, how Bhagavatam fits within the Vedic knowledge, Vedic system. And now we are going to start the Bhagavatam. And if you see the first verse, it's huge. And actually, it's where Bhagavad Gita stops, Bhagavatam begins. So it's a fundamentally important verse. Anything you'd like to share, Shruti?
It's just that we are also fortunate that we have been given this opportunity to recite, listen to, and study the Bhagavatam. It's a complete blessing.
It is indeed. It
and
is.
to make the most of it.
Very good point. It's such a huge blessing for us.
And what better day to start than today? In Bharat, I believe Purnima, the night of Purnima is today, because I believe the Purnima Tithi does not last for the whole of tomorrow. So The full moon night is today, I believe. At least in Bharat, I'm not sure about the UK because of the time difference, but nevertheless, it's a very auspicious day to very, very fitting. I think the Lord intended it to be this way. It's Vyasa Puja, and we are beginning to study this great work composed by about the Lord and by the Lord himself.
You're absolutely right. It's 6:15 in the morning. Purnima's today started.
Yeah.
So very well observed, actually. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Just struck me immediately just now because the significance, I mean, the significance of us starting the first chapter, the first canto today.
Yeah, no, well done. Well done.
What more proof do we need of God's blessing for this venture?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very good point. Well done. Very good point. Thank you for that. And the first chapter is called The Questions by the Sages. So these are, our scriptures are all about questions and answers. So I know many people have questions. I know I've been having some nice discussion, or we've been having nice discussion with Subhash Chitkara, and he's got lots of questions. The questions are very important, and as are the answers, of course. So here we're going to see loads of questions by Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, so let's make a start.
Okay, Prabhuji. May I begin with this verse then?
Yeah, and you can do any invocation if you like. We've done anyway, but if you got anything else you'd like to share, you're welcome to. Huh?
This the beginning of this verse already has
is the invocation. Yeah. Very good.
Okay. Let's begin, Prabhuji. Hare
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadyasya yatonvayaditarataschaर्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Shruti. Go for it.
Okay. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth.
So immediately, Lord is established as the Supreme Personality. The Lord Krishna is established as Supreme Personality of God. This is, there's three aspects of bhakti: Sambandha, Abhidhaya, and Prayojana. Sambandha is introduction. So this first verse is the introduction to Krishna. And what an introduction. So let's go to the second verse. Oops. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. May I continue?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Dharma प्रोज्झित कैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परय ईश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यते कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तत्क्षणात्.
Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavad Puran propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in its maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart.
So Sambandha was the introduction, how to establish our relationship with the Lord. Here is the practical means of establishing that relationship, abhidheya, and that is through seva. And one of the best sevas is to hear about God. And Krishna describes, or Bhagavatam describes this hearing, the Bhagavatam, which propounds the highest truth, is the best thing that we can do. It's the best thing for the illusion that we are in, to get ourselves out of this illusion and into God realization. So amazing 2 verses, and it's just the beginning. Let's have a look at the 3rd verse.
निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुखमुखाद् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसम् आलयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः.
O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukdev Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls.
So we had Sambandha, Abhidheya. Sambandha was introducing, Abhidheya was the seva, how to get close to Krishna. And this is the goal, prayojana. And the goal is clearly stated. The fruit becomes very tasteful when we hear the Bhagavatam through the lips of Sukadeva Goswami, because it's relishable for all liberated souls. So this is the goal. So this is establishing the status of the Bhagavatam. Now we'll read 4 verses or 5 verses all together before we make any comment. Okay.
So from 4 to 8, Prabhuji?
Yeah, that's right. And then I'll just probably, we'll just make a small comment. So, but yes, that's fine.
Okay. So can I just continue one after the other?
No, we'll do every verse, we'll speak the English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. नैमिषेन् अनिमिषक्षेत्रे ऋषयः शौनकादयः सत्रं स्वर्गाय लोकाय सहस्रसमम् आसत.
Once in the holy place in the forest of Naimisharanya, great sages headed by the sage Sonak assembled to perform a great 1,000-year sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord and his devotees.
त एकदा तु मुनयः प्रातर्हुतहुताग्नयः सत्कृतं सूतम् आसीनं प्रपच्छुरिदम् आदरात्.
One day, after finishing their morning duties by burning a sacrificial fire and offering a seat of esteem to Srila Sutta Goswami, the great sages made inquiries with great respect about the following matters.
त्वया खलु पुराणानि सेतिहासानि चानघ आख्यातान्यप्यधीतानि dharmashastrani yanyuta.
The sages said, respected Sutta Goswami, you are completely free from all vice. You are well versed in all the scriptures famous for religious life and in the Puranas and the histories as well, for you have gone through them under proper guidance and have also explained them.
Yani veda vidam shreshto bhagavan badarayana anye cha munaya suta paravara vido viduhu.
Being the eldest learned Vedantist, or Sutta Goswami, you are acquainted with the knowledge of Vyasadeva, who is the incarnation of Godhead, and you also know other sages who are fully versed in all kinds of physical and metaphysical knowledge.
Vethatvam saumya tat sarvam tattvatastadanugrahat bruyuh snigdhasya shishyasya guravo guhyam apyuta.
And because you are submissive, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all the favors bestowed upon a gentle disciple. Therefore, you can tell us all that you have scientifically learned from them.
Wonderful. And your recitation is so good, Shruti. So thank you so much.
I must admit, I missed one word because two words because they were not in the Sanskrit text. I was looking at the Sanskrit text on my laptop.
Oh, I see.
The same text, but the words Rishaya Uchuhu, where the sages begin asking their
Oh, yes. Of
they are
course.
in the text, but not in the Sanskrit. So
Right. That's okay. And when one does, like recites in this way, which is with a pure heart, even mistakes don't matter actually, because the purity, that's what the Lord will see, the purity. So it's really good. So just quick explanation of the 5 verses that we read. The narration of Bhagavatam begins in the holy place of Naimisharanya. And this is the glorious place. Naimisharanya is a forest where thousands of sages got together after Lord Krishna departed in order to stop the advance of Kali Yuga. So let me just go back if I can. Okay. Where great sages gathered to perform a 1,000-year sacrifice. First, they glorified Shukadev Goswami, Sutta Goswami, the speaker of the Bhagavatam. Sutta Goswami is a speaker. And we'll see the difference between Sutta Goswami and Sukadev Goswami a bit later on. And then they begin inquiring from him. One must hear the Bhagavatam from a bona fide representative of Vyasadeva. Very important to hear the Bhagavatam from the right source. Otherwise, we won't enter into the nectar of the Bhagavatam. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so now can carry on. I'll stop you when the time is okay to do a quick summary. Okay. So you can carry on, Shruti. Oh, we might have lost her.
No, she's there.
sorry, Prabhuji, I was on mute. I did not realize.
That's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Tatra tatranjasayushman bhavata yad vinishchitam pumsam ekantata shreyas tanna shamsitum arhasi.
Please, therefore, being blessed with many years, explain to us in an easily understandable way what you have ascertained to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general.
So the sages are asking help so that we can understand.
Prayenalpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge janaha mandah sumandamatayo mandabhagya hyupadritaha.
O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed.
This really summarizes our position, our situation, what we are like: quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, above all, disturbed, never peaceful.
भूरिणि भूरि कर्माणि श्रोतव्यानि विभागशः अतः साधोऽत्र यत्सारम् समुद्धृत्य मनीषया ब्रूहि भद्राय भूतानां येनात्मा सुप्रसीदति.
There are many varieties of scriptures, and in all of them, there are many prescribed duties, which can be learned only after many years of study in their various divisions. Therefore, O sage, please select the essence of all the scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings, that by such instruction their hearts may be fully satisfied.
सूत जानाति भद्रं ते भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः देवक्यां वसुदेवस्य जातो यस्य चिकीर्षया.
All blessings upon you, O Sutta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of God had appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva.
तन्नः शुश्रूषमाणानाम् अर्हस्यङ्गानुवर्णितुम् यस्यावतारो भूतानां क्षेमाय च भवाय च.
O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters, acharyas, for one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them.
Wonderful. So, now these 5 verses, for the sake of people in Kali Yuga who have short lives, quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, lucky, and always disturbed, the sages begin posing their questions. So they're doing this for us. They themselves are already liberated. They're sages, they're great personalities. But they care for people like us who are struggling in this world. They especially desire to know what is the ultimate good for people in general and the essence of scriptures. If both the speaker and the hearer are qualified, then the hearer will easily understand this absolute truth, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay.
आपन्नः संसृतिं घोरां यन्नाम विवशो गृह्णन् ततः सद्यो विमुच्येत यद्बिभेति स्वयं भयम्.
Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified.
यत्पादसंश्रया सूत मुनयः प्रशमायनाः सद्यः पुनन्त्युपस्पृष्टाः स्वर्धुन्यापो अनुसेवया.
O Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the water of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use.
को वा भगवतस्तस्य पुण्यश्लोकेऽद्य कर्मणः शुद्धिकामो न शृणुयात् यशः कलिमलापहम्.
Who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of coral, who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord?
Tasya karmanyudarani parigitani smuribhihi bruhi nah shraddadhananam leelaya dadhata kalaha.
His transcendental acts are magnificent and gracious, and great learned sages like Narad sing of them. Please, therefore, speak to us who are eager to hear about the adventures he performs in his various incarnations.
Atthakyahi harer dhiman avatara katha shubha leela vidadhata svairam ishwarasyatma mayaya.
O High Sutta, please narrate to us the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Godhead's multi-incarnations. Such auspicious adventures and pastimes of the Lord, the Supreme Controller, are performed by his internal powers.
Vayam tu na vitrapyama uttama shloka vikrame yatshrinvatam rasajnanam swadu swadu pade pade.
We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment.
Kritavan kila karmani saharamena keshavah atimartyani bhagavan gudha kapatamanushah.
Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balram, played like a human being, and so he performed many superhuman acts.
So this is where we take a little break, just to explain the last 7 or 8 verses. Especially this last one is very interesting, where the sages say that Lord Krishna, he appears with Balaram. They appear like human beings, and so actually disguise some of their acts as ordinary acts, which actually they were always superhuman acts. Okay, let's have a look at the summary. So we looked at texts 14 to 20. The sages glorify hearing about the Lord. That said something like the great personalities, they never tire of hearing about the Lord. And they request Sutta Goswami to speak to them about the Lord and his incarnations. Hearing of the ever-fresh pastimes, the names and glories of Krishna will attract one from the horrible Kali Yuga trap of material world to the eternal, blissful spiritual realm. So this was the essence of what was said in the last few verses. So now let's go. And this is the last part now of this chapter.
Number 20.
Yeah, 21.
Kalimagatam atnyaya kshetresmin vaishnave vayam asina dirgha satrena kathayam sakshana hare.
Knowing well that the age of Kali has already begun, we are assembled here in this holy place to hear at great length the transcendental message of Godhead and in this way perform sacrifice.
Tvam na sandarshito dhatra dustaram nistitirshatam kalim sattvaharam pumsam karnadhara ivarnavam.
We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being.
Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmanye Dharma Varmani Swam Kashtham Adhunopete Dharma Kam Sharanam Gataha.
Since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter.
So that's the end of chapter 1. Shruti, is there anything, is there mantras that you say after the end of each chapter?
Not that I'm aware of, Prabhuji.
Okay.
But I'm not very, to be honest, I have never sat down to chant or recite the Bhagavatam before. And I'm not aware of any specific verses that are to be recited at the end of every chapter.
Okay. Now that's fine. So chapter 1, Ki Jai. Thank you.
Yes.
That recitation was amazing. One of our dreams has always been to go through reciting the Bhagavatam in Sanskrit and in English. So you're fulfilling that dream, Shruti. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, Prabhuji. All glories to the Lord.
So the last few verses, knowing well that the age of Kali has just begun. Right? The sages had gathered in the holy place of Naimisharanya to hear in detail the message of the Lord. The sages accepted Sutta Goswami as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali. So this material world is a very difficult place to cross over. But it's said that one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Lord, then it becomes like stepping over a water in a cow's hoof print. They then ask the question, now that Krishna, the Supreme, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers has departed from his abode, please tell us by whom religious principles are presently protected. So they were very concerned. Krishna's gone. The sun is gone. Darkness has set in. When the sun was present, when Krishna was present, there was no question of ignorance. But now, what do we do? Where's the religious principles gone? So this is the boat, right? We want to get on this boat. This boat headed by Krishna and his pure devotees. We want to be on this boat so that we can cross over this Maya. If we're not in a boat, we're not going to be able to swim in this ocean of material miseries. When we leave this body, where are we going? Do we know? Do we care? We should care. We probably don't care because of ignorance, but we should care. Where am I going next? What am I doing now to help me where I go next? Let's get on to this boat. This boat is very, very important for us to be on, to cross over this material world. So just a quick idea, a little idea of, a little summary of the 6 questions that were asked by the sage. And we also want to give you the answers in advance. So this is a little bit like cheating in an exam. But of course, this exam is the exam of life and death. And here we have to do our very best to get out of this material world. So this Bhagavatam gives us the answers. So I always feel we know the questions. Let's also have a quick look at the answers as well. Regarding the 6th question of the sages, in his commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he is one of the previous acharyas, very powerful sage. He summarized the 6 questions that the sages of Naimisharanya asked Sukta Goswami. First question, what is the ultimate benefit and good Shreya for mankind? So that was in text number 9. And the answer is given in chapter 2, in these 2 texts here, 6 and 7. After describing that devotional service to Krishna was the essence of the scriptures, Sutta Goswami explains that the ultimate benefit for people in general is to become free from material bondage, develop love for God through bhakti, devotional service, offered only to Krishna or his plenary parts. So very important. What is the ultimate good? Do bhakti. Do bhakti to Krishna or his avatars. Second question, what is the essence of all scriptures? That was text number 11. The answer is given again in the same verses throughout the second chapter of the Bhagavatam, and especially in 1, 2, 6, and 7. And continued on to text 28. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is confirmed as the only object of worship. He is the essence of all scriptures. And establishing one's lost relationship with him in love and service through bhakti is proclaimed to be the sum and substance of the Vedic literatures. So knowing who God is and establishing our relationship with him, that is the absolute essence of the scriptures. That's why these scriptures are there, to give us information about the Lord and how we get back to him. Third question, for what reason did Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appear in this world? So that's text number 12. And the answer is given in text number 34. To reclaim those in a mode of pure goodness. So this is the most fundamental point about why Krishna comes to this world. I would even go further than that, is to reclaim everyone, reclaim all of us, because we are all his children and he is missing us. We've forgotten him. We don't care for him, but he does care for us. That's why he comes. That's why he sends his representatives. That's why he sent the Bhagavatam, to reclaim us again so that we can reunite with him. So there's many references to that answer throughout the Bhagavatam actually. This is in the first chapter, first canto, chapter 8, 9th canto, chapter 4, 10th canto, chapter 8, which is what we're doing next week, 10th canto, chapter 33. So why does he come? To get us back. He wants us back. So the fourth question, describe the wonderful deeds of the Lord when he assumes the form of Brahma, Shiva, etc., for the purpose of creating, maintaining, and destroying the universe. So the question was in text number 17. Now this question is answered in long answers. There are long answers for this question. This is answered in text number, chapter number 2, but also throughout the Bhagavatam. Cantos 2, Cantos 3, it's described. Bhagavatam explains how Vasudev creates a material substance and enters into it as the Purush incarnations. In addition, Cantos 3 and 4 explain the creation of the universe. So that's there quite a lot. Fifth question, fully describe the activities of Lord Hari's incarnations within this universe. That was in text number 18. And the answer is the Lord's incarnation described in chapter 3 of Canto 1. And descriptions of the incarnation are explained throughout the remainder of the Bhagavatam. So that comes a lot throughout the Bhagavatam. Where have religious principles gone after Krishna's disappearance from this planet? So that was the last question in this chapter. And Sutta Goswami answers this question in chapter 3, text number 43, by declaring, this Bhagavat Puran is as brilliant as the sun. It has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. So this is fundamental. Krishna's gone, yes, but the Bhagavat is as bright as the sun, is as bright as Krishna. So we can take shelter of the Bhagavat, and we are taking shelter of Krishna himself. So these are the questions and the answers. So are there any questions, any comments, anybody like to know anything else? Oh, there is there's a question in the chat, is it? Can you please put the questions and answers on the screen as you did for questions 1 and 2? Yeah, sure. Is there anything you'd like to ask or point to, Subhash?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I am not good at this deep conversation. I only wanted 3-4 answer to 3-4 questions about Hindus, which are superficial questions, not deep into Bhagavad Gita. No. I have never read Bhagavad Gita. I was just listening. That's fine.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for actually listening. Is the most important thing. Parikshit Maharaj, he perfected his life simply by hearing Sukadeva Goswami for 7 days and 7 nights. So we're very fortunate to have this Bhagavatam. I'll share you these notes so that you have it.
I think Neelam asked these questions, not me.
Number 3.
Oh, okay.
Only
Thank
number
you.
3, because if I want to sort of go over them again, I missed the question and answer to number 3. I've got the rest of them. Thank you for putting them up.
I'll share it with you, Neelam, anyway, okay? So,
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
okay, anybody else? Anything else you'd like to
Yes,
ask?
Prabhuji.
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Kaushalya.
Prabhuji, I want to go in that boat, please.
Yes, good. This is the attitude. I want to be on that boat. And if you have that mood, you will be on that. You are on that boat already, because Guru Maharaj, you've already taken shelter of Guru Maharaj.
Prabhu, kindly take me
Thank
also.
you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, also, Mr. Sar, you're on the boat as well already. So.
No.
And me.
I wanted to say same thing like Kaushalya Mataji tell. The same thing.
And
But
me.
we are so, I feel so happy because this is such a rare thing to be able to participate in. I'm so grateful to all of you, and especially to Shruti for this incredible, great fortune that we've stumbled upon. So,
Prabhuji, you and Shruti, both of you push us in the boat. Please take us in the boat.
well,
I was going to ask Prabhuji to, regardless of whether we ask or not, take us all along.
Yeah, hold our
Correct.
hands tightly and don't let us drop.
yeah, no, it's very good. True, it's true.
Prabhuji, a simple question, not related to Bhagavad Gita,
Sure.
but another silly question from me. Was Draupadi married to all the 5 Pandavas?
Yes, because it was as a result of a boon given by Lord Shiva. And this is explained to her by Krishna. What happened was, when this happened, when she was won by Arjun, she was taken back to meet Kunti Mata. And Arjun must have said something like, I have a gift for you, Mother. And she used to always say, yes, share it amongst yourselves, to all the brothers, you know. So she said the same again. And they were all perplexed, you know, how can we share Draupadi? But the mother's words, when they've said, they cannot be taken back. So then at that time, they were all really shocked, you know, what to do. And Krishna came. And Krishna came in that moment. And Krishna explained, don't worry, this is actually destined to be like this. Don't worry at all, because in her previous life, Draupadi was somewhat a maiden who was looking for a husband, and she was worshipping Shiva. And when Lord Shiva finally appeared to her, she begged him 5 times, I want a husband. And she said it 5 times, and Shiva said, Tatastu, you can have 5 husbands. And she said, oh, I don't want 5 husbands. I only want 1. He said, well, I've said it and now you got it. But don't worry, these husbands are the greatest personalities. So this is not something that like ordinary men will think, this is prostitution. Krishna had 16,000 wives. What sort of what sort of God is what sort of God is that? But we don't understand that.
Listen to me. Listen to me. This is an ordinary world.
That's fine. World. This is ordinary world, but we have to remember these are not ordinary pastimes. These are not ordinary.
To explain this thing.
Yes, I understand where you're coming from, Subhash. I understand where you're coming from, Subhash. But these things have happened. These things have happened. What I'm saying to you, Subhash, is we don't worry what others think too much. Let them think what they want to think. No. Just hear me out now.
I have to explain to children.
No, you don't have to explain to children. No, you don't, because this is scriptural. You are not Krishna. You don't have to justify Krishna's behavior because you're not Krishna.
We are.
Yes, but just listen to me. I know where you're coming from, but
I know
what you have to understand. Listen for 1 minute.
I have found the answer to the other question, which I asked you 2 weeks back. I found out the answer how to explain that from somebody. That question was explained very nicely, so that if somebody asks me that question again, that what is this Shiva Linga, I can explain to them very nicely. I found the answer.
That's fine. What I'm trying to say is Krishna's behavior, Draupadi's behavior is beyond question. They are pure personalities. If somebody is concerned about their behavior or why did Krishna have so many wives? Well, he's a supreme person. He's completely and utterly pure. If he wants to fulfill the desires of his devotees, there's absolutely nothing wrong with. There's no illicit in this world. We have full of illicit relationships. There's full of nonsense going on. But in the spiritual realm, there is no illicit relationships. It's all very, very pure. This is the point. And if we can't understand it, we can't explain it, that's our fault, right? That's fine. But we don't have to justify Krishna's behavior. We don't have to justify Draupadi's behavior because we are fallen, conditioned souls. Their behavior is absolutely perfect.
Okay, all right, okay, not to worry. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
I was just listening. I'm trying to learn Bhagavad Gita.
This is actually what we're learning is not Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the 18 chapters, 700 verses, which Krishna spoke between him and Arjun. This Bhagavad Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam, is 18,000 verses. And we've just done the first chapter, 23 verses, that's all. This Bhagavad Puran is a discussion between two devotees about Krishna.
Oh, right.
And it's a higher level of understanding than even the Bhagavad Gita. Where the Bhagavad Gita finishes, Sarva Dharma Parityaja, the Bhagavatam, this is what we're studying now, begins. So this is a higher level of understanding. And this, in this book, in this scripture, we will understand why Krishna has so many wives, because it's explained through the scriptural context.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, anybody else?
Prabhu, Krishna led the Govardhan, but we can't do any stone lift it.
Yeah, he lifted the Govardhan. That's correct.
So we can't do then anything. So we
can't do what he does. Correct. Yeah. We can't have
compare with anything like.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Anybody else? Thank you so much, everybody, and we shall look forward to Friday evenings, and we'll try to follow the same format. we'll read a little bit, explain a little bit, read a little bit, explain a little bit. I hope that format was okay for everybody.
Yes, Prabhuji, it was okay. Thank
It
you.
was perfect.
Yes, Prabhuji, perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Absolutely perfect.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare
It was,
Krishna,
it was really
Prabhuji.
very nice. Thank you so much. And I look forward to every Friday now.
Thank you,
Thank
Neelamji.
you. Thank you.
Yours,
Ji.
your enthusiasm is very good. I'll send you in fact, I'll put you on the online group where we post these automatically every time we do a presentation. So,
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
thank you so much, Neelam. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one quick question.
Yes, Lena, yes.
You know, when you're reading it yourself, do you read the purport as well? Because
Oh,
I read,
yes, I read the
Yeah.
purports. We should read the purports, but because time is a little restricted.
yeah. No. This is
but,
just to read yourself.
Ideally should read the purports, because what the purports do is they give
explain
it gives Prabhupada's realization on the verse. And without Prabhupada's realization on the verse, it's very difficult. What we have done in our little explanation is we've included a little portions of every purport.
That's right.
So
Also, you know, with the Sanskrit, I do read it in English, but I've been told that if you don't pronounce it properly, it creates like opposite meaning. So should we be reading it?
that's
in
true
Sanskrit?
of the Rig Vedas. If the Rig Vedas are chanted incorrectly, they may well produce opposite impact to what one is chanting. However, the Bhagavad Puran, the Bhagavad Gita, because the motivation of the chanter is to simply develop love for God, love for Krishna, any mistakes are overlooked. And this is not me saying it. This is actually written into the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavatam. We'll see that as we're going along. You'll see the verse, even if it's chanted incorrectly.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Even if chanted incorrectly, because the intention is to serve the Lord with sincerity and faith, then the incorrectness is overlooked by the Lord. Even when we're chanting Hare Krishna, there's some people who can't pronounce Krishna. It's a tough word, actually, Krishna. So the Chinese, for example, they can't say, I think it's Krishna, they say Krishna. So is Krishna going to ignore them? If they're chanting Hare Krishna, is Krishna going to ignore them because they can't pronounce the name properly? No, because their intention is to worship Krishna. Krishna will see that. And even if they're pronouncing it wrong, it doesn't matter. Krishna will accept that offering of love.
Okay, so we should read the Sanskrit as well. Thank you.
If it's possible, like what we're doing with Shruti, it's
It's
unique.
amazing.
Yeah, it's unique. This is really unique.
Absolutely.
So very blessed.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you. Thank you,
Hare
Shruti.
Krishna.
Thank you, everybody. It was very
Thank
nice listening for the first day. So it's very good. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Indra Kamaji.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you, Shruti.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good night.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.